Allan, a new car, its first race. You must have some high hopes.
Well, a new car, a new team, a new workshop, new components, absolutely everything brand new. And working up to today, it's been amazing how trouble-free it's been. But if we can finish the race today, we'll be in the half dozen and we'll be very, very happy.
There are people farther down the paddock that think that you've turned the boost up a bit more for this meeting and are a bit concerned about your progress. Would this be right?
The car's good on a tight, twisty circuit anyway, which this is obviously. Hasn't got the long straights of Spa or Dijon, places like that. It ran well at Nürburgring, if you remember, apart from the problems we had with the fuel. We've got a bit more power, but that isn't what it is. It's just the fact that the Yokohamas are working well around here and the car's handling well. We've got a little bit more power, but I hope we're a threat to them. Someone's got to be soon.
The Nissan thundered on out front. Its first pit stop, not perhaps quite as sharp as the Eggenberger cars as Win Percy is strapped in and takes over, but nevertheless the car in with a big chance of success on its first time out. But Donington is a tough circuit on brakes. And the BMWs, whatever they're not, are not under-braked. Soon they were eating into the lead of the Nissan. The Skyline GTS-R has slippery aerodynamics, a twin-cam 24-valve 2-litre turbocharged engine, computer-controlled fuel injection and 450 brake horsepower in race trim. Its problem is its weight. It goes well, but takes some stopping. And as Steve Soper pulled off with a surviving Eggenberger Ford, it was a battle now between Nissan and BMW. The Nissan was running short of brakes, just as Jaguar had a few years before in Percy's hands. And poor Win just couldn't hang on for very much longer. This was the second of 2 spins, by which time he virtually had no brakes at all. A burst of flame as the cars restarted, and heading for the pits is Win Percy after what nearly turned out to be a dream debut for Nissan. A strong challenge, however, to Ford at this stage of the season, and one that was making everyone sit up and take notice. Steve Soper's car had slowed a little with a minor trouble, but was soon in for its normal pit stop, and the two of them set out after the new leader, which was the Nissan, not so far behind at this stage. They began to eat into the Japanese car's lead, who'd stood out longer than them and hadn't had the early pit stop. Grice was thoroughly enjoying himself, trying to keep distance between himself and the Fords. Eventually, they caught up. In and among the traffic, they weaved their way, gradually closing in on the Nissan challenge. By, on the straight, at least one Ford, eventually. But this had really stretched the Fords for the first time, and everyone now was beginning to question whether or not their reliability would go with their speed throughout the season. Ford number 2 here, trying to force his way up past Armin, and followed there by the Nissan. Very close order indeed. Allan Grice looks for the inside there, as, going past, into second place, the second of the Eggenberger cars. We look outside again and watch the progress of this tight battle. Second, third, fourth, and there's fifth man. Up on the inside and clouting the body, all but spinning round the Armin car, the Nissan is up, or is it? No, back comes Hana again to take away the place, and it's the first dent. The R a few spots on the windscreen, as back for another charge on the tail of Armin comes Allan Grice. And this time, he's alongside and through. On the limit motoring by the 44-years-old Australian, who waves to the opposition as he disappears off into the distance. Nissan now up into third place. Now it's a challenge for second, and you can see how hard the Ford is trying up ahead. Down a gear, and Grice looks for the inside here. In a straight line, when it can use its power, the Sierra is still probably just a little bit quicker. But the torque is there as a big dive on the inside, and once again a clash of bodies. Nissan up to second place. The Ford comes back again with the inside line, taking that position back again and causing Grice to use the curbs. Rain is coming down, cars are on slicks, and this is the battle for second and third places again. More close encounters and a clash of bodywork. On the outside, still the Ford as they go past a slower car. And now the real drama. As the Nissan gets sideways, so does the Ford. There's a further accident between them, and then in front of Toyota spins. Damage once again to the Nissan on the other side of the car, and it's the pits for Allan Grice. Meanwhile, the Nissan has also gone onto wets and begins to try to rejoin the race. Once again, there's a queue, however, at the end of the pit road. The Nissan is back on the track again, but only just. A BMW here spins in front of him. Grice succeeds in missing the incident, but sets off again.
This place, as you know, history sort of keeps repeating itself. You've got to be here at least twice, maybe three times to, I think, achieve a good result. If we want to please Nissan, what they want is a finish of the 24-hour race. We have literally done all our qualifying with the boost turn down, with the race rubber, with full tanks. I know it sounds like the typical old excuse to everything, but we're happy with the way the car is, and 24 hours is a long time, so, you know, we're not downhearted, but it is frustrating when everyone keeps asking the same question.
The race has never been won by a turbocharged car. Do you think this could be the year?
If I had to put money on any car, I believe I would still put my money on the BMW. But having said that, the Fords are so fast now that I think the pace they should be able to run is going to be so conservative for them that they could be strong cars and not be a problem.
Nissan, of course, very important. Allan Grice, Win Percy, and on this particular occasion, they've got Anders Olafsson, the ex-Volvo star, with them. And it's a singleton car, which, with development, is going better. There's the Nissan. Allan Grice is at the wheel of that. Six-cylinder, turbocharged car. We're now actually watching it as a camera platform. And isn't it a lovely, steady camera platform? Hello, we've got a problem there. We have got an accident there on the left-hand side of the road, which we didn't record from the side of the circuit, but we see it as we go through with the Nissan. And that car, again, being driven very conservatively. They've shown up that they have a weakness, I reckon, in the transmission there, which the Japanese will no doubt be trying to develop out of it. It's not shown up here yet, but they will be a bit careful. Even Grice, who is a bit of an animal when it comes to changing gear. He's even ripped the gear lever knob off as he goes down 2 gears there, which I reckon could cause them trouble. It's going to end up in a very sore hand for somebody. It doesn't seem to worry Allan. Comes up, you notice he doesn't touch the curb there. And we're perhaps being a bit unfair to him because he is driving fairly conservatively. Past number 83 BMW. One of those that we needn't perhaps count too much upon for the future. That's the privately owned Bovis Leppen car, Benning and Duffer. And here we have a superb view of this wonderful driver's circuit at Spa, and you can see these lovely long curves where getting it right's the name of the game. The Armco very unforgiving, and it has to be there because, of course, there's a sheer drop on the other side. Through bus stop, and there's the Nissan, obviously very much on the pace. And here's the Nissan at the hairpin. Lots of lock. Waving his hand at the camera. He's into the pits, in fact. And this, I think, is scheduled. It's a scheduled stop for the Nissan. Bit of activity there. That was the Maserati that was in. It has been going well so far. And here's Grice. Bit of gear wind there. That's normal. And pulls in at the pit, and I'm quite sure that he'll have something to say about that gear lever. Marsden waits at the front of the car. That gets Grice. He throws in the gear lever. Thank you very much. With the excitement here mounting as the Fords are certainly having their problems. BMW too have had a fair share during the course of the day and into the night. But the learning curve of Nissan in their first season before coming back to properly have a go at the ETC next year is getting stronger and stronger. The car is still running to the surprise of some, and we asked Win Percy how it was going.
Win, a few problems, but it's still going.
Well, we had a front hub bearing going. We've got so much negative camber on the car to try and give the tyres a really good run that we're stressing the left-hand bearing. And when it came in for that one, we changed them both. And I'm afraid it caught the team out a little bit. We weren't prepared for such a thing, I'm afraid. But we dropped the long way back. But the car is good and strong, you know. I mean, we've done what we said, and that is the car is quicker than we qualified because we spent our time qualifying. She's going like a bird. We just want to prove it's a good, strong motor car and do our best with it now.
Is that a problem that's likely to reoccur again?
I think we're going to have to accept, we'll have to life the bearings. Otherwise, she's good, really nice.
And so it'll be there at the end of the race, you reckon?
I hope so, pal.
Alan, it's got to that stage in the morning where I can see you drinking coffee and things now.
Yeah, it doesn't feel too late yet, 1:30. It's going pretty well. Had that major setback with a wheel bearing. We had to replace both front struts. We'll be changing them every 5 hours from now as a precaution. But we've actually picked up 2 laps on the leaders in the last. We've picked up a lap an hour on the leaders. We were 14 behind. We're now 12 behind. And the motor car is the quickest one out there during the night.
And Allan about to go out and prove that point in just a few minutes' time as we come up now to a scheduled pit stop for the Nissan. And the team ready, 10 minutes to 2. And the real race, of course, at this time of night or in the early hours of the morning is in the pits. By now, the crews are beginning to feel the fatigue creep in. You have to break through that tiredness barrier, and it goes right the way from the drivers, right the way down to the mechanics, the tyre people, everybody else in this sort of situation. And as Olofsson brings the car in, the bespectacled Swede, take it over, and this time it's basically routine maintenance, clean the screen. That is absolutely vital with the limited amount of light that is available, and it's back out in double quick time this time. Lovely 6-cylinder beat, a fine balance and no problems as regards anything else. There's the Nissan going well in the hands of Allan Grice and accelerating out into the dark part of the circuit. Very difficult when you come through the brightly lit pit area to go out onto the dark side of the moon at night at Spa. And here's the Nissan going hard, going well. Here the Nissan, a scheduled stop there. They're still going ahead with this program of changing things rather than let them break. The final order for BMW in the 1988 Spa 24-hour race is as follows. Hager, Questa and Ravaglia the winners. Boutsen, Ludwig and Dodoni second with Ford. Griard and Lafitte third for BMW. Schneider, Bieler and Soper fourth. Holtze, Hollinger and Minaj fifth. And Grice, Percy and Olofsson sixth.
It's the same people who say to me, you know, why do you go back? Do you not dislike it sometimes? Yes, of course you do. If you've worked 12, 15 hours to get a car to the finish and it breaks, you usually say, well, that's it, I don't want to go back again. I'm fed up with the place. But I guarantee the following year you'll want to come back again. It's just such a challenge, you can't resist it.